What is up, and welcome to another episode of the All Basketball Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon, coming to you on June 19th. Happy Father's Day for those fathers out there, and happy Juneteenth, the holiday which was just incorporated this year, official holiday. Good to know about that. And first off, folks, remember the All Basketball Podcast can be found on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, and the visuals on YouTube. Just search all basketball podcasts. Please be sure to subscribe to help us out, help me out. But like I said, this is the All Basketball Podcast where debates often take place. I got three other guys on the panels with me right now. I got for the first time Hancock, Steve Hancock, who's also co-host on Sports Roundtable here in the Atlanta area, coming on every Wednesday from 7 to 9. You can find it on iHeartRadio. You can also find it on Facebook, where I view most of the time, and other listening platforms as well. We also got Cornelius and one of my best friends, Henry, on to talk about these 2022 NBA Finals. The Golden State Warriors come out on top over the Celtics in 6 games. But Hancock, just glad finally have you on for the first time. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to come in and chop it up with you guys, man. Close out this year's NBA Finals. You and I talk a lot, when we ever have time to kind of get to the side there. So to come on and, I guess recap and just come up with the things that we've noticed throughout the series. I think that'll be fun. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Hancock almost messed up, mess around at work talking too much sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah. So Warriors win 4-2. You predicted a while ago. I mean, we were talking about that. What are your thoughts on how it played out? You said they win game. I know you said they win game 6. They actually won the last 3 games. So
They did.
what are your thoughts on what transpired and how the series shifted?
Well, the series to me did shift, I thought, in game 4. I think the Warriors found something and they were able to kind of expound upon that throughout for the last 3 games. When the series started, I thought the Warriors would take the first 2 games pretty easily, but they didn't. So them coming out, and the Celtics getting a split did give me pause. And I thought, my prediction of 6 would not go well, to be honest with you. I thought with that, I still had faith that the Warriors would win, but I thought it would go 7 after them losing that first game. But I think once Kirk kind of outcoached, and I won't tell you, I know we got to get around the panel, but it looked like to me that Coach kind of Kirk outcoached Ime throughout the series, making adjustments. He adjusted his starting lineup. His rotation started to be a little different, started using Looney a little less. And then one major thing, when he saw that he was not able to play Draymond and Looney at the same time, he benched Draymond in that key stretch in that game that they ended up winning. So those are kind of the takeaways that I saw. It looked like the Celtics just weren't ready. That championship DNA that the Warriors always boast about, I thought that played a big role in this series.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I think it just came down to the experience, and Boston just continued to make those turnovers they usually make, and that bit them in the butt. Ultimately, Henry, how'd you see things playing out? You got to unmute yourself. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So, I figured that it'd go. I thought it would go 6 or 7. If it went, late 7, I thought the Celtics would take it based on, how their run through the Eastern Conference and, different things that they were able to endure. But I do believe I agree with the, coaching. There was definitely an advantage there, and also like the turnover that did them, really bad. And then the experience, the youth and the experience. right there. I felt that in game when they lost game 5, that was to me like, okay, that's pretty much the turning point. It was game 4 when Curry had that big game, and they said that he got injured some, and so how the whole thing with how would he play in game 5? Well, game 5, I was expecting the Celtics to come out and take it because they hadn't lost a back to back. So like, okay, you lost that game there. That game 4, Curry put up big numbers. Well, you've experienced where Butler put up big numbers. And you had to come back and win a game. So I thought that they were going to, come back and win. And Tatum had a good game. He shot well. He had a good game that game, but they still lost. So I was like, yeah, man, if when Tatum, usually it's when Tatum has off nights, and in this series, it seemed like it was every other night, where he had off night. But when he had that, when he shot well, he did well, but they still lost. Then I figured that they would lose the next one.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. Him and Brown could never get on the same page, and
Yeah.
and neither one of them could stop turning over the ball. We'll talk about some things they have to address, but yeah, that big Curry, I think that was finally one of his big moments. That game 4, he's not had big moments, but like a standout moment when you're talking about a champion, when you're talking about legacy. So that game 4, and definitely the game he had in game 6 as well too, was very, very impressive. James, what you got on the way things transpired? I know you had Golden State winning as well.
Yeah, I had Golden State in 6. It went exactly how I thought it would go. Everything. I mean, I just thought Golden State was a better team. They had the better players. Boston had 2 really good players, but they're young. They're coming up, and then of course everybody. It's funny how these people act like they didn't know Boston didn't have a point guard coming into this series. Another big story. Oh, they need a point guard. They need somebody. We knew what Marcus Smart was coming into this thing. He's a great defender on the perimeter, guarding the other guards and things like that. But he's never been a facilitator of the ball. He's never been a guy who's gonna hit threes on the high clip. He's actually has gotten better over the last couple of years at shooting threes and picking up his offensive game. But he's never been a guy who's known to set up other guys and to distribute the ball and to control pace of the game down the stretch. He's never been that. Kyle Lowry is more known for doing that than the Marcus Smart. So the series went exactly how I thought it would go. Steph Curry was the best player in the series. He won the MVP, I thought and everybody thought that he might if they win. The thing that that has impressed me and I like to give point to is Andrew Wiggins. Of course, Draymond played great. He was all time great those last 2 games. But Andrew Wiggins, he showed that he was willing to adjust his game, lock in on defense, and be a great third guy. And him being that, Harrison Barnes was that, and helped win them a chip. KD was that, and helped them be unbeatable. And now Andrew Wiggins was that, and it helped them win the chip. So, he just goes to show we just need a solid guy at that third spot. And Clay, Steph, and Draymond are going to be championship, caliber. And KD is a lot better than Harrison Barnes. He's a lot better than Wiggins. He made him unbeatable. But those 2 guys in that same role won championship.
That's a good point. Yeah, they did. They did. Cornelius, what you got on the series? I know Golden State all the way. You've been riding with it for a while. If you're there, because you had to step away. So, oh, go ahead.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I think for me, Boston had a chance to win, but they're not at they haven't locked in on their how they want to win, and maybe they did get through because of some injuries in the East. But I think what you saw from the Warriors and Curry especially was, I think at the end of the play-in last year when they didn't make it, he posted something on the social media. It was like the day after. He was like day one. He was back in the gym preparing. He may be the most mentally prepared and physically prepared guy in the NBA. Doesn't say much, and he focuses in because he does all his talking on the court. And they have a great system in Golden State. Like when they were up 2-1, it was a little shaky.
You mean down 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when they were down 2-1, it was a little shaky, or when Boston was up 2-1. But that last 5 minutes, Boston, it was like fool's gold. The first 3 quarters, everything was dropping. And that last 5 minutes, when they really had to kind of hit those high pressure shots, which they weren't used to, they weren't dropping. And Curry and Golden State hits those regularly because they've been through the process. So I think their experience showed through, and they're showing to be a system, almost like a machine. The superstars are easy to play with, so if they keep retooling, they could be winning for a couple more years.
Yeah, I could definitely. I can see them. I can see them getting one. Definitely one more.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too early to say repeat, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on how much. Well, that depending on what they lose really, and who comes along. Like if some of the young guys come along,
that's it.
How much really does Klay Thompson have left to be? But you got Poole to back him up. Then it just depends on if Draymond want to act right, really.
Yeah, it's almost like how can you, with the older guys, Klay, how can you manage those minutes? How can you get the young guys in the regular season to carry a lot of minutes and get that experience? Because I believe the core knows how to win big games. They just don't need to be like LeBron, having to play so hard in the regular season. And maybe even his team will retool where he doesn't have to kind of work so hard. I think that was the key. That was the key for Michael Jordan, winning championships down the stretch. He had a core around him. In the last 5 minutes or 8 minutes, he can bring you home.
The luxury Golden State has is that the last 2 years they were injured, they sucked, and they got drafted. And they're able to get Dante Kuminga, they're able to get Moody, they're able to get Wiseman. And all of these guys got valuable playing time, not only in the regular season, but early in the playoffs. So going into next year, it's going to be easy for them to limit Klay Thompson minutes. It should be easy for them to scale back some of the minutes of Draymond to get these guys more experience and playing time. And then come playoff time, they're going to be strong because they're going to be deep. They got trade assets if they decide that maybe one of these guys is not going to work out. Maybe they need to get a proven guy. They got assets to trade. They can go get another all-star caliber player to play in that same role. So Golden State is very formidable going forward.
They are. I think the biggest question mark going to be Wiseman. I know he's young, but injury history is injury history, and it's going to be somebody at some point always. Like we wonder if was Zion going to be Kawhi Leonard have his issues. It's Lonzo Ball. I mean, it's going to be somebody.
Yeah, it all comes down to the health.
Yeah, with anything, but they've had their health did derail them for a second, but they got back on top. Got to give them credit for that. As far as Boston, I think just adding some reserves, and I want to see what you guys think. I mean, only so many point guards out there. Rubio came up, but nobody mentioned this other one. I was thinking, what do you guys think about John Wall? Anybody can, yeah.
No,
You said no?
no. They need look. First of all, it's funny to me how people can jump on a team like, okay, all of a sudden Jason Tatum ain't no good. All of a sudden Boston ain't no good. They got exposed. They flawed. Well, guess what? Every team in the league got exposed to flawed except for Golden State because every team lost. Boston exposed Brooklyn. They exposed Milwaukee. They exposed Miami. They were good. They were great. They had a great season. Jason Tatum just won the first Larry Bird trophy for what he did in the conference final. He's first team all NBA. They had a great season. It's just one team can win a championship. Marcus Smart validated his position as the point guard in Boston. Just because all these people now in the championship are, they need a facilitator.
No, you can't. You're not gonna win.
Okay,
The man had 100. The man had 100 turnovers.
No, Jason Tatum had 100 turnovers.
Right. You can't have that again.
Okay, but guess what? Let me take Marcus Smart off the lineup and let me go get John Wall or some other guy who's supposed to be a point guard, and they don't get to the finals. Marcus Smart was a huge part in them. He's defensive player of the year. Of the whole league, all players in the league who play defense, he's the best. You don't think that?
Right.
You don't, and he's your starting guy. You don't think that contributes to going to the championship? Come on, stop.
No. But
Now,
hold on.
If you can replace Marcus Smart,
let me go.
Top 10 defense, and also is a distributor. Then we talked about Chris Paul ain't gonna take Boston to the finals this year with Jason Tatum because he don't play enough defense.
But James,
they are defensively built teams.
Right, but James, you have to address your issues, especially when you don't win. Your issues get magnified the further you go. So if you don't address, and if you don't have another, this window ain't always be open. Like you did get luck on your side pretty much, but you have to address that issue. The man had the most turnovers. I mean, they've been turning over the ball all year. Like
Marcus Jason Tatum did. Marcus Smart didn't have the most turnovers. Jason Tatum did.
Right, but if we get the ball out, right, but if we get the ball out of Tatum's hands, somebody
you don't want the ball in your face.
No,
you don't want the ball.
No, hear my point.
That means Jason Tatum ain't got.
No, I ain't say that. I said get him in the right position. Like no, but you're not.
I don't want the ball in my best player hand. That means he's not.
No,
I don't want always want the ball in my best player hand.
I don't need him bringing the ball up if he's not a facilitator. Put him in his spot. Like Chauncey Billups, when he went to the Nuggets, they went to the conference finals against the Lakers. That changed their whole dynamic.
I want the ball in Kobe's hand. Yeah, I want it in your hand, Kobe. Here you go.
But
I know
Kobe
we got
in his spots. But Kobe wasn't out the 3-point line.
The guy. Kobe the guy. When you the guy, LeBron, I want it in your hand. Yes. Right. When you the guy, I want it in your hand. You telling me Jason Tatum ain't got?
No, I didn't say that. Yes,
I said you did.
Dude, when let me give you this example. Michael Jordan was the guy. Pippen was the
ball in his hand.
Right, but Pippen got him the ball in his spots because Pippen was the point guard. We don't need Michael Jordan bringing the ball in the point guard. Pippen was the point guard when they closed games.
When did Pippen turn? No, Jordan bought it up. Jordan did everything when they closed.
James. No, he didn't. Go back and watch.
He wanted to. When he wanted to, he did what he wanted to. When Ron Harper bought it up sometimes. Brown bought it up. It didn't matter who brought it up. All we know is it's throwing to Michael Jordan. It don't matter. It wasn't like Jason Tatum was bringing the ball up, turning it over. He was bringing the ball up once it's time to make a play. That's when he was turning it over. I want the ball in his hand. He just can't turn it over. He got positive instead of negative, but he ain't bringing it up whole court. And then he get it, and they said go make something happen, and he wasn't making it happen.
Because that's not his role. That's not he's out of position. He needs somebody
They got to the whole final. He first team all NBA doing everything he did to get up to the championship. Now all of a sudden that ain't his role.
I was talking about him turning the ball over against Miami. We seen it. We all watched it.
Turn the ball over all the time. You've been watching this season. He turns the ball over.
You have to
He ain't just started turning the ball over. Go look at the stats. He ain't just now started turning the ball over. He just don't handle it as much as Trae Young, Westbrook, Luka, and those guys. Because he's not that. But he turns the ball over. Jaylen Brown turns the ball over. Boston is a defensive team. When they get in trouble, and it shows in the playoffs, when they turn the ball over, that's when they struggle. Because they can't score enough.
Right. So how do we remedy that? How do we remedy that? How do we alleviate that?
Golden State turns the ball over at a different high clip with Boston. They can score on a more efficient basis than Boston. That's the difference.
But Golden State turn over a lot, but because they're moving the ball. It's not
I don't
just like
understand. You telling me now. I'm not disagreeing with you on. They might need. Of course, you end the season, you upgrade the roster, you try to get better. But I'm not understanding how you're going to sit here and play this media talk and tell me Marcus Smart is the reason why Jason Tatum stopped. Marcus Smart is the reason why Jason Tatum scored 13 points in the closeout.
I didn't say that.
That's what it sounds like.
No. So you're putting words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying when that man doing stuff wrong, let me get the ball. You got the mismatch on Curry. Let's get you in the mid post and you go to work. Let's point out the mismatches. If Smart not doing that, and then Brown, he going down here too much right hand, they're stripping him. Nobody's there to be like, give me the ball. When in game 6, when Boston came out in that good run, they ran some good plays. They just weren't like isolating.
Wall gonna do that? Marcus Smart better than John Wall. Come on, man, stop playing. Put some respect on that man's name, man. That man ain't get to where he get by accident. Hard work. Gave Marcus Smart everything he got. Hard work.
I'm just saying somebody control it. What I said. Oh, go ahead.
He's gotten better since he got in the league.
Right. Yeah. I give credit to Marcus Smart. Now, Boston's always had an issue with their point guard. I'm just throwing some stuff out there like. I mean, they had Kemba Walker. They had a few guys. They just didn't work out.
Mike Rose. They had Rozier. And Marcus Smart is the one that got them to the finals. All them point guards you named, Marcus Smart is the one that got them to the finals because he's a great defensive player and they are a defensive-minded team. They're not an offense-oriented team.
But where was Smart's defense in the finals when Curry was lighting them up?
What you mean Curry lights everybody up? Ain't nobody stop. Ain't one player to ever stop the great player. All time, Mutombo, Shaq dunking on him in the championship. Mutombo blocking everything. He wagging the finger at everything. They get to the finals against the Lakers. Ain't nothing you can do with Shaq because Shaq is an all-time great. Ain't nothing you can do with those guys. You go get who you want.
I understand that, but they were doing a lot of switching. Smart wasn't matched up.
Hancock, they switch anything in basketball. That's basketball. When have you watched a game yet? And they in the last 5 years, when have you watched a game and they ain't did no switch? I'm waiting.
I mean, you. I mean, obviously they have done, but you can do too much switching. You can do too much.
Right,
switching.
I agree. Like that's basketball.
But like
I agree.
Like Klay Thompson, when he switched, they're like, oh, J.R. Smith came over, and Klay Thompson was like, oh yeah, you go ahead and check him, Curry, just deferring. Like, no, get to your man. Let's make J.R. Smith beat us and not Kyrie Irving.
That's the league.
That's the soft stuff.
That's the league. That's everybody.
That's the league.
That's every game you watch for the last 5 years. I'm sorry. That's how we keep saying, how you let the Steelers get on Curry? We know what he's gonna do. Bobby keeps kicking, but they keep doing it every game. Why? Because that's the league. I'm sorry. That's just we just gotta accept it at this point. It's tough, but I like basketball. I want to keep watching basketball. Where I gotta accept the fact that they gonna switch even when it's 2. They gonna do it. That's every game.
Okay. Hancock, should Boston point guard, should they do something about it or?
Yeah, I think they do need to do something about the point guard situation. You got to have somebody that can get you into effective plays in key situations. I don't think it's not a knock against Smart because I think he, as you said, he's improved since he's been in the league. He's been adequate, but he's not the point guard I think that will get the Celtics over the top. The thing about it is that I do agree that Tatum is on the perimeter too much, especially with his length and his size. I think he avoids contact when he does drive to the rim. I think that was part of the reason he shot so poorly from two. He shot, I think, in around 40 something percent, 49% from two, and he was 40% from the three. So
he was less than 40
yeah,
from two. He was like in the 30s.
Tatum, I had him on the stats. I'll get back to it in a minute, but I know he was low from the field in his in the 2 point. He shot almost the same from three. You know, he shot well out there. And even the stats, when you look at what they did, they were pretty comparable when you look at what the teams did. So it came down to the turnovers, just like in the last game. Celtics turned the ball over 23 times. And as you stated, the turnovers killed them. Anytime they were 16 plus in the turnovers, they lost. And that goes along with taking care of the basketball, which is a guard's responsibility. And yeah, Tatum did have 100 turnovers in this postseason or whatever, but I think a lot of the team control, you saw even Jaylen Brown out of control at key times of the game, trying to split defenders, trying to get to the basket. And those things, live ball turnovers turn into points the other way. And to me, those were the key parts of the game. It's not about, you know, if you can turn the ball over and still get back on defense, it's fine. But they had a lot of turnovers that were live ball, and they Golden State going the other way. And you know, like I know, once Golden State gets that avalanche rolling, they're hard to beat, man. When they get those threes going, get out in transition, that's where the game started. Because when Boston was able to set up their defense, Golden State would have trouble in the half court. Now they did later on figure some things out by getting Horford out on switches, but that's like you said to Maurice. I thought a lot of times they died on those switches. They left Horford out there to dry. They didn't go and fight over and make sure that they stayed attached. You knew what Golden State was running. Every time when the Celtics were doing it on the other end, you saw Curry meet with a hedge and stifle that ball from coming around to allow his defender to get back. Then he would run back to the guy that he was guarding. The Celtics were dying. When they brought Horford out and they would scream, it was like, okay, you got him, Al. And he was killing Al, you know, every time down. And I just thought to me that it looked like their will was broken. But your original question to me was a point guard. Yeah, I do think they need a point guard. I don't want to get off of Marcus Smart. I'd love to keep him. I don't know if he'll be able to do it and bring in a point guard. The John Wall thing, I'm not good with. I like John Wall, but I think John Wall is a ball-centric point guard where it's going to be about scoring for him. I don't think a point guard like that changes his stripes this late in his game. It's the same way with Westbrook. These guys have been accustomed to being scoring-first guards. And for what Boston needs, I don't think it's going to be that. They might just have to run it back. You know, they had great success. I think what happened was they did catch a good break by not having Middleton against them with the Bucks. I honestly think that the Bucks would have gotten past the Celtics, if Middleton would have been healthy. So I don't even think they would have gotten there. But it was the perfect time for them to try to get through. I think they do need to retool. I think they need to look at their bench. Their bench was just severely outplayed by Golden State when it came down to it. So it's going to take a little retooling. I don't know what they'll have to give up to get it, but they do need a point guard. Who that point guard is, I don't know, Maurice. I've been trying to rack my head with it too, but I can't find the guy that they need, really. I don't know who it is, but Wall and any type of guard like that that's scoring first, I'm not really with.
They say Rubio's out there but he got hurt.
Rubio, stop playing, man.
I'm just saying.
Comfortable, man. Stop. Rubio, only Rubio who just can't come off of ACL, who don't play no defense.
Give me somebody.
I told you.
You're not fixing it. You stand back.
No, I'm not. Look, if a guy like Lonzo Ball would be the perfect point guard for Ball, but he's not available. So when I talk about available guys, until something comes of, they pay guys to make decisions like that and make trades, do what you got to do to get a guy available. But unless some guy comes out, like Marcus Smart isn't the problem. You look at Phoenix, right? Phoenix got the point guard who sets up just about inside. The one guy he's not responsible for setting up, who's responsible for getting his own, is Devin Booker. Devin Booker is responsible for going out there and putting up his number. So when game 6 comes against Dallas, game 11, and Devin Booker is turning the ball over, and Devin Booker is having the worst shooting game of his life, that's not on your facilitator point guard. That's on you. Got to be the guy. That's not on Chris Paul. It's like it's Marcus Smart brings the balls up. Okay, I want it to be in Jaylen Brown hand. I want it to be in Jason Tatum hand because this is how we're going to throw the ball. I get it to these guys, and they throw the ball out of bounds. How is that Marcus Smart's fault?
Did you see some of them lobs? You see some of them lobs Marcus Smart was trying to throw into Jaylen Brown and Tatum when they posted up? You see some of that?
I would say this, and I want this to be with y'all guys. Y'all tell me this. Y'all say. So this is what it sounds like y'all saying logically. Jason Tatum is not the guy. Jaylen Brown is not the guy. They need a point guard who is the guy who can make them better. They need a Damian Lillard who can come in and be the guy, and then they can feed on him because they're really not the guy. You said they need a point guard who's one of the great players in the game. They need that. That's what you're telling me they need. Because Jason Tatum, you telling me Jason Tatum is not that good. He's not gonna get better. And Jaylen Brown, he's okay, but he's not gonna get that.
No,
better
I want Jason Tatum to play this strength. I want him to be a scorer. I don't need him to be LeBron James or whoever else.
Derek Fisher wasn't a facilitator either, and Kobe got killed.
Who?
Derek Fisher wasn't a facilitator.
Right, but they ran a system. They had a triangle going. They had a system that nobody else had, even when Shaq left.
So maybe Boston needs a system that will maximize their good players' efforts when they go play. Maybe they need a system. Maybe they don't need a point guard because their point guard is playing damn good to be all first team, all defense, and instead of improving his percentages. So maybe that system needs a little bit tweaking. Maybe that's the problem. Why we always gotta look for somebody to blame and then blame the guy who ain't even doing the wrong. Let's blame the guys who turning the ball over and missing shots. Marcus Smart played good, other than he's not Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think he played well, but he made some skeptical decisions too.
He played really well.
I mean, sometimes he wasn't even bringing the ball. Traditionally, I need my point guard to be bringing the ball up most of the time, huh?
Name them. On your one hand, name me 5 traditional point guards in the NBA right now who play in today's game. Name them. I can name you 2 right now, Chris Paul and Lonzo. I just gave you 2 off the rep. Chris Paul and Lonzo Ball. Give me 3 more guys. I made it easier. Give me 3 more traditional point guards in the league right now.
De'Aaron Fox, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
De'Aaron Fox is not a traditional point guard. Stop.
What is he then?
He's a scorer. He's a scoring guard. He's inconsistent at that. That's why Sacramento been garbage every game in the league.
Sacramento just garbage because they garbage. But he can
because
bring
they got him.
I can trust him to bring the ball up.
No, come on, stop. De'Aaron Fox is a scoring guard. He's just like John Wall and all these other guys.
Well, I can trust him to bring the ball up. That's what I'm saying.
He's not a facilitator. He don't play defense either. You can't win with De'Aaron Fox.
No, you said give you a point guard.
I said traditional point guards who are known for distributing the ball. That means he needs to be averaging at least 9 assists. If he's not averaging 9 assists, he can't even be in the category. Go. I'm waiting.
Well, maybe I'm just saying traditional.
I gave you 2. I gave you
I think you're right. I think you're right as far as traditional point guards, because I think the NBA has gone to a more positionless basketball. So I do understand what you're saying there. The problem I have with it is that I still don't think Smart. It might be, and you said something that does resonate. It's a lot to do with coaching, and if you got a guy like Tatum who averaged 7 assists in the series, he did facilitate a lot, but he turned the ball over, so he had the ball in his hands a little much. So, like I said, when you have these live ball turnovers, they kill you. And the thing I'm saying, when it might not, if being smart, if you're not going to bring in a traditional point guard, you're right. You have to change your philosophy. You got to change the way you're doing things. You have to settle Jaylen Brown down a little bit because his strengths The things that make he and Tatum great are also the things that hurt them. The thing that makes Jaylen Brown good is that he can take the ball to the rim, score, and get on runs. But when he does that, he can also shoot you out of a game. He can turn the ball over in a key situation and the ball goes the other way. The thing about Tatum is his game is so much Kobe right now when he's not Kobe. He takes the most difficult shots. They look great going in. And he's shooting from distance all the time. It's always a loop, something when he goes to the rim, he's extending the ball and all that finger rolling and all that. But he is 6'10", and he has to understand that he's 6'10", with shoulders and a matured body that take the ball, absorb the contact, but continue to the rim. Put the onus on the official. He left so many and one and fouls on the table because everything was a finger roll and trying to go around people. So I do think it's philosophy a little bit. Maybe we are being a little more hard on Marcus Smart with the way you're saying it. I do understand. Smart played great this year, and his game has improved. But if they don't change the philosophy, find a way to make Tatum understand that if you're going to play like Kobe, you get your butt in the post and facilitate out of the post. He's 6'10". He can see over most people in the post. So you can't guard him with a small guy, and you shouldn't be able to guard him with a bigger guy because he can go around him. So I do agree with you. It's experience. They have a chance of being back, and like I said before, they have to understand: do we stay pat, tweak it a little bit, or do we make a change? Do we still think about breaking up this Brown and Tatum thing? Because it still might be a possibility to improve your team. So I see both of your points, to be honest with you.
It's just about getting better. I mean, Tatum is 24, Brown is 25. They're young. They're gonna get better. They're gonna make better decisions. They're gonna make tougher shots. What we gotta realize is that because somebody got somebody's numbers, because Jason Tatum got Kobe numbers and called him, don't mean he's Kobe. Kobe is great. He's all-time great because there's only one of him. Jordan is all-time great because there's one of him. They can talk to whoever they want. They can work out with whoever they want. Whoever can come to their birthday party, they can go donate to whoever charity they want. That's not going to make that player that guy. And so what we're realizing at this moment, while he's 24 and while Jaylen Brown is 25, they're very good players, but they're not great players because they can't consistently give you what you need every night to earn that credit as being a great player. Now, that's not saying that next year, 2-3 years down the road, they won't get to that level. But right now, Steph Curry is already on that level. Clay and Draymond, they already on that level. Steve Kerr, he won his 9th ring as being a part of the NBA. Like, they understand what it takes. So I don't want to say Boston lost. They went 6 games with the check off. Boston lost, and now we need to break them up. And now Tatum ain't no good, and Marcus Smart ain't no good, and Brown ain't no good. No, they great. They fine. They had a great run. They had Eastern Conference champions. They just didn't win the whole thing, and that's okay because only one team can win. And they should go to the best player, and that's still Curry. He earned it. He deserved it.
Right. Henry, what you got? Boston stand pat. Boston change up something more.
Well, I agree as far as, I do believe that Boston should, do something with their bench, to help strengthen their bench. They do need some help there, and specifically with, scoring and I agree with from a bench perspective as far as having a point guard who can come in and do some facilitating because, Marcus Smart defensively, yes, he's had a great year, but Marcus Smart has been the same pretty much. Like, he's been a defensive player. So he's been consistent, since he came into the league, as far as he's known as a defensive player. So I'm not surprised that he got defensive player of the year, but he's never been offensively, that guy who can consistently make a big contribution. Yeah, he has improved, but as far as some things as a point guard, when it comes to some vision, seeing the court, there are some things where he's lacking in that area. I've seen it in the Heat, in the Heat series where he was missing people and things like that. I think a guy who they could get in, who could possibly fill that role off the bench real well for them is somebody like a Tyus Jones, who filled in well in Memphis. He does really good as coming off the bench as a backup, just facilitating things, holding things together while the starter is out. I think somebody like him
Right.
come in and and fit in real well with them.
Yeah, throw another Duke guy in there.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
But he's been watching his basketball. He actually finally, he's been watching that. Ty Jones is a solid backup point guard, comes in, plays very well, get other guys involved, facilitate, play solid defense, but he can't start for you. If he starts, you're dead.
he's not. I'm not talking about. Yeah. He's not. He won't start, but they need some bench players. Bench players. The Warriors. That was key with them. I mean, you take away some of their bench players. You take away Jordan Poole. Throughout the season and what he did, they probably wouldn't be in the position they got in. He was huge throughout the season. So they need, not necessarily Boston needs like scoring like that, because I think, with Brown and Tatum, I think they need to work better together, learn to, work better together and everything, especially with their movement between one another. I think they will improve. I do think, I think Tatum is a great player, and it's not because yes, I'm a Duke fan, not just that part, but I think in general that he has taken that next step to become a great player. Yes, he hasn't won a championship yet, but there are plenty of great players in the league, veterans, who have never even gotten to an NBA championship. So, every year the Celtics are taking a step further, So, and this time they got all the way to the championship. But I do think that they will need, somebody off the bench. I don't know if Horford is coming back. It'd be great for them if he did. He seems to fit well with them. So, but I definitely think they need some help on the bench.
What you got, Cornelius?
Yeah, man. I think we just saw experience meet inexperience. If you go back to Curry young days, especially the one they lost against Bron, and he was reliant just on the three. They lost that series, in Game 7. But now you'll see Curry can get to the rim. Because if you look at that game where they were down 2-1 or Boston up 2-1, that game was there for them to win, but they haven't been at that stage yet. Like you said, you could be inspired by who you want to, but you got to go through those lumps. Now, this summer, you got to be humble enough to look at the film and improve in all the little areas that you need to, because those are young players. I think you can still get it done with Smart, but you're going to have to take that next step. Even the Warriors are going to have to take the next step, because we could really, the Grizzlies could have got the Warriors. And that's, I like the Warriors, but you have to have a great coach to know how to beat the Warriors, because the Warriors can beat themselves. Sometimes I think when KD, that was the great thing when KD came there, they could always get the high percentage shot. But before KD got there, it was either feast or famine. It's like, oh, we're hitting threes, we're rolling, or we're not hitting threes. And so Boston got caught in the blender of a keyed in Steph Curry. He was the difference maker. He was hitting difficult shots. Nobody hits those shots. Not in the finals, maybe in the regular season, but that's what he does. And Golden State has a system that makes everybody look great in their role. And I like Golden State, but I'm wondering, if Draymond was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets or on the Charlotte Hornets or on some other team. If Gary Payton was, we wouldn't know, but it's like you came against a great coach, a great system. So it's no shame in that. But now it was great experience. It humbles you because it's like, I know I'm bigger. I know I'm better. We had them outside. Like, what happened? You just got knocked out by Mike Tyson. You just got to go back to the drawing board. And these types of losses either break people or they make people. Hopefully for Boston, it'll make them.
I think a lot of times we look at this fantasy of sports and a team wins a championship and we're like, oh, Michael Jordan won a championship or LeBron won a chip or Kobe won a chip. And that's never the case. It's always a team that wins a championship. If you said something very, that was very, smart, that's enlightening, that the system, if Draymond wasn't in Golden State, he was in Charlotte somewhere, if Clay was in Memphis or in Clippers somewhere, it wouldn't work. If Michael Jordan was playing all them years, putting up all them points, but until he got still in the triangle, and Michael could have went down as a Tracy McGrady type player, a guy who scored a lot of points, never won that. But he got in the right system. And because he got in the right system with great teammates who also fit the system, then he was able to have great team success. But because of the fantasy of sports aspect, Michael Jordan won all them fields. And that's not how it goes. So I'm glad it's system.
And Draymond said something enlightening on somewhere. He said it. I can't tell you where. I was listening to him, but he said that in the regular season, he said most teams chase wins and they chase improvement. And it shows there's no way you get Wiggins to play the way he did. Gary Payton, that's like automatic defense. Like for his size, he's crafty and he's in there, but it comes from the system. They're focusing every day on get better. And they allow you to make those mistakes during the season. Like they'll let Kuminga come in and have a great game or have a bad game. And they say, hey, he says, you got to do this because we're going to need, like they said in their system, Steve Kerr doesn't believe in letting guys ride on the bench. He's like, I got to get you some minutes. You're just not going to sit here because we're going to need you to win a game at some point. And with other teams, they may not have that philosophy. And it shows in the biggest of moments because now you want a guy that you haven't really developed or built that confidence. Now you want them to win a championship. They're like, I can't do it. So yeah, I think Boston. This is like you said with the coach and everything. They just got to go to the drawing board. Hey, it happens to the best, and we'll see what they do.
Hey, the one thing that could, derail this whole thing is, they did reach the finals and it's pretty early, but we saw this with OKC. When KD and Russ and Harden all got to the finals, it was like, okay, this is a team that's going to be there. And you worried about them or saying that they were going to be the team to beat for the next few years. And they never got back there. So you have to seize that moment when you're there. When you look at the East, it's going to get stronger. Philly will be better with a healthy Embiid. As I stated before about Milwaukee, they'll get Middleton back and they'll be better. You look at Miami, they'll retool because there's already been some signs of them talking about going out to Utah and getting a certain player out of the Jazz, which will make them a better basketball team. So there are teams that the Celtics were, this might have been the window, even though you got a young, talented team, who knows what next year is going to bring. It's going to be a tougher East. Teams are going to get stronger and better. So we don't know what Boston will do or what they'll be facing next year. So it's going to be a long road.
Do you believe in Philly?
I believe in Embiid, and I believe in some of the young player. What's the young guard they have? Maxson. I like the way he's developing. The thing about Doc, he is what he is, but if Embiid is healthy, he has to stay healthy. It's all about him. But he might not be healthy throughout the series, but what if he's healthy when the Celtics meet them? That's the thing I'm saying. It's about when you play and in those matchups. I'm not sure that, they have an answer to stop him.
I just don't see him having enough support with with the shaky the suspect Harden.
Look, man, we've been watching basketball the whole time. Basketball is about two things: sports entertainment, period. It's about superstars and health. If I got the superstar and we healthy, we gonna win. It's always about the healthiest team who got the best players. Of course, if Chris Middleton plays, Milwaukee wins. Like that's just how it goes. But so with that being said, chances are Boston will not return to the finals. Every team in the NBA, even Golden State, has to retool, do something to get better because every team is working to get better. Players are going to move. Great players are going to move from one team to another team. Coaches are going to move. A lot of moving pieces are going to be in place. So the story usually goes like this. Boston will not go back to the finals. At some point, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart or anybody on that team, they might go to another finals, but it'll be with another team. When another team is retooling and they trying to get to a place that's best for them in their career to win a championship, they won't be on no bottom feeding team in Sacramento nowhere. Forever, they're going to always be on good teams because they're proven to be good players, great players. But it may not be in Boston. You may see Jason Tatum one day go to Chicago and link up with whoever they got at the time and go on a run. That's how the NBA works. So I don't see Boston going back to the chip because they don't have the best player in the league. And we don't know what the health is going to be for any team at that time. So, the chances of getting back is like 5%. And that's just basketball.
Well, I don't, as far as the Sixers are concerned, I don't have any faith in Doc Rivers, whether, Embiid is healthy or not, he'll have to put up like astronomical numbers to overcome Doc Rivers. I just don't think that he could take a team and win the championship, Can he surprise me? Absolutely. He can do it. But I definitely think Boston will do it before,
What's wrong with Doc?
What's wrong with Doc? Have you seen the record?
I know he got a championship. He got one ring. He usually gets into the playoffs and compete, but they get hurt or something happen. James Harden don't show up, or Embiid get sick, or he get a thumb injury, or he get hit in the eye somehow, or he get his toe stepped on and his belly sore. Something always happen with them. I don't see Doc Rivers missing no game. He hit no jumper. He boxing out for no rebound. He make no turnovers on the bench.
What did he do with the Clippers?
Chris Paul either got hurt every year or Blake Griffin got hurt. One of them got hurt every year.
Even after they were gone, what did he do with the Clippers?
He was with the Clippers. When he was with the Clippers for the 3-year stretch, for a 3-year stretch, they had the best record in all of basketball. But then the playoffs came, and Blake Griffin either got hurt or Chris Paul got hurt or both of them got hurt every year. That's fact. We can go look it up. That's fact. That's not
against Houston that time, though. Chris Paul came back.
The players gonna get hurt, and that's why they're gonna lose.
Right. I don't know. Maybe Doc has something with how he plays their minutes or something, to where he runs them down to where they can't be healthy when it's time to perform. Maybe you got me on that right there. Maybe I can look into that. But as far as his X's and O's and that kind of thing, like, he's really good at that. His out of timeout play, he's really good at those out of timeout plays. When they call a timeout, they come back in, they run the play, and they score. Like, I count all that kind of stuff.
He'll get into the playoffs. He ain't winning.
It's only a few coaches in the league right now who have a championship, and he happens to be one of them. And all those guys are considered great coaches. So I'm not gonna say out of all the guys in the league coaches who got rings, he's the only one that can't coach. Like, that don't make no sense.
No, look, I think Boston head coach will get another ring. Will get a ring before Doc. So I just think that I think that he has a chance to get a ring before Doc.
He's a good coach. He got good players. Anytime you get a good coach, you got good players. And I think he did a good coaching job, this whole season. But people questioning his coaching in the finals because they lost. So I mean, any coach can get
question.
every time a coach loses, he gets questioned. Whether he's a great coach or not. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. So Doc will be fine, trust me. They already said, no, we're not letting Doc go nowhere. Because them folks are smart. They know that he's one of the best coaches in the league. And unless you're going to get a coach better than Doc, I better pay Doc. That's what you do. That's basketball.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying Philly ain't winning.
Right, because he's good. It's not because of Doc. They're not winning because of James Harden, because of Embiid. Because, the old guy has a reason not winning. Not because of Doc. Doc doing great.
But what about last year with Atlanta? Because Atlanta was ahead of the curve now. I know Ben Simmons melted down, but
okay, then what happened? And what have you seen Ben Simmons since? Now I fight 2020 to tell you, oh, okay, I see why they lost to the Hawks. Because he had Ben Simmons, and Doc Rivers did everything in his power because the media was trying to get him to dog Ben Simmons. They were asking, man, are you gonna have to bench Ben Simmons? Can you win with Ben Simmons? And he just kept being, no, I'm not gonna pull Ben Simmons. Y'all don't know basketball. He was getting on the media. Y'all stupid. I'm riding with Ben. I'm riding with Ben. And then Ben did what Ben did. Doc did everything to boost his confidence like a good coach supposed to. Ben did what Ben did. At some point, we gotta say, you know what? That ain't no Doc. That's on Ben. And guess what? If I gotta coach Ben, I can't win with Ben. And so, no, you just can't win with Ben. He went to Brooklyn. They found out, damn, he ain't even gonna play. Guess what? We can't win with Ben. Is that Steve Nash fault? Who I don't think is a good coach, but I'm not gonna blame Steve Nash for what Ben doing or not doing, and I'm not gonna do that to Doc either.
I mean, Ben Simmons did have back surgery, so something was wrong. But I guess I don't really have a big issue with Doc Rivers. I don't really have a big issue with him, but I just know his track record is like, I mean, that's a lot of blown leads and a lot of misfortunes. Some his fault, some not his fault. He got the one with Boston. He almost had two. I mean, he just they didn't have Perkins, but
that's a lot. One is a lot in the NBA. Go get all the coaches who got one. That's a lot. So once you get one in the NBA, you consider a great coach. That's just how it goes, whether you like it or not. If Jason Tatum would have won his championship and beat Steph Curry, he's a superstar, whether you like it or not. That's how it goes. This is basketball.
But I guess we'll segue. There's a lot of talk out there about Mr. Curry, now a Finals MVP, 4-time champion, 2-time league MVP, 1-time unanimous. And I mean, he got the Finals MVP. That he probably should have got one in 15. Definitely looking back, I have to admit that. I don't remember. Now I don't remember anything great. I don't remember him really being great. I know he had one standout game, but based on the numbers, I mean, you gotta give it up. But I found out that it was like, because it was 11 votes, so they had LeBron for 4, Iguodala for 3, Curry for 3. Does that make 11? Somewhere like that. And there was a tie. Everybody who came back and voted just flipped to Iguodala. This is video I watched. It was pretty informative. I mean, but yeah, looking at it, looking back, it was definitely probably should have went on and had one by now, but top 10, people are saying that talk is out there because he has 4. Now I finally put him above Isaiah Thomas because now I'm taking points away from Curry for those 2 with Durant, but he got the one and now he got this one, so I can't really argue that. Curry top 10, y'all. Hancock.
It's still tough to put him, top 10. I have to say when I talk about this stuff, I want to say and talk about the guys that I saw. I didn't see enough of Russell to have him in my top 10. He had all these championships.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. Am I still going? Okay. I don't know if everybody else might have Russell in it. I personally don't. You know, he has a lot of championships, but you look at the league, there were, you know, a smaller amount of teams that they played. They had all these Hall of Famers on his team, which he doesn't get penalized for, but Curry gets penalized for having Durant on his team for 2 of his titles. So if for every argument that's made against Curry, if you look around, there are other arguments you can make for other superstars. Magic is in my top 10. And like you said, he went through this tragic Johnson phase where he blew a series. You know, even Isaiah's first championship against the Lakers, Magic pulled a hamstring and couldn't finish the series, basically. You look at Jordan's first title, they played against a depleted, aging Lakers squad. So there's always caveats and reasons as to why teams win titles. So that all to say then, when we talk about Curry, his accomplishments and the things that he's done have to bring him close to the top 10. I don't know what order you want to go, but in my top 10, I got a Jordan, I got a Magic, I got a Kobe, I got a Kareem. I did see Kareem play. I don't have Oscar Robertson in my top 10, you know, even though I saw him win his first that title with Kareem. I was a young boy, but still, I don't count him because I didn't see his career. I caught the end of the Havlicek and Cowens and all these guys. So for my top 10, yeah, I'll go back and say, yeah, he's in my top 10 all the time. Whether that's going to go in with everyone else, who knows? But yeah, he's top 10 for me. He's changed the game of basketball. You listed some of the accomplishments that he's had. 4 titles, 2 league MVPs, 1 unanimous, scoring titles, all-star appearances, whatever. Anything you can name, it's always been, yeah, but he didn't do this. But we never talk about everything that he does because the list is getting longer and longer. Whenever you mention him, you say, he's only one of this. He's only one of that. He's in the top 3 of this category. Well, then if he's in all these different things, that include Jordan, that include Kareem, that include Magic, that include all these guys that you have in the top 10, and he's mentioned in all these categories or leading in some others, he has to be in the top 10 all the time, guys. So that's where I'm going to land.
Well, for me, I thought about this very hard because I was hearing a lot of people talk about it. I said, let me think about this. Is Steph Curry in the top 10? You know what I mean? Really think about it. And for me, I am a basketball historian, so I definitely got Bill Russell in the top 10. There's no doubt about that. So I start off with the 6 guys that I put in the room. And I got 6 guys. I don't never say this guy's the greatest player ever to play. This guy, I think there are 6 guys who are legitimately, arguably the greatest player to ever play. And that's Bill Russell, Wilt, Kareem, Magic, LeBron, and I'm missing somebody. But anyway, I got
Duncan?
who?
Tim Duncan?
No. I said Bill, Wilt, Kareem, Jordan, Magic, and Michael. Yeah, Michael Jordan. I mean, and LeBron. And LeBron, Magic, LeBron, and Jordan. So those 6 off the top. Then I go Tim Duncan. I go Kobe. And then I go Shaq. And then right there I say, I don't got nobody to put in front of Curry right now.
James, let me ask you something.
I got Curry like 10.
Can I ask James a question?
Yeah.
When you mention Bill Russell and he's in your top 10, I don't know how old you are. I don't know. How many games did you see him play?
We didn't say the top 10 guys I've seen.
No. Okay, but what criteria do you use then if it's not seen?
Me being a basketball historian, to understand that Bill Russell was in high school, won a chip, went to San Francisco, put up big numbers in San Francisco, won another chip, went to the NBA. They went to 9 out of 10 chips in a row. Then he became a player coach, won a chip then, the first black coach to win, and he was a player. So he got 10 chips in 11 years. All these awards, and they wasn't even giving out final MVP and all that. He would have had all that we'll be talking about. Well, it's Jordan. No, we ain't talking about that. But the final MVP is named after Bill Russell. So Bill Russell, if you go back in the history of actually what he did, like Wilt Chamberlain was the most dominant player. But
Understood.
Every great player played with other Hall of Fame.
Yeah, understood. The thing,
Hall of Fame. Michael Jordan played with 4 Hall of Fame. Magic Johnson played with 4 Hall of Fame. Like every great player who won anything, they all played for Hall of Fame.
right, and I understand playing with Hall of Famers. I understand all that. The thing I'm saying though is when you look at what Bill Russell did, he was a defensive player. Okay, he did that. But and we have to go with others. But what about him stands out to you? Now you listed his teams won and he got this and he got a trophy named after him. But what have you seen when you watch him play that shows you that jumps up?
That's about our two seconds to none. I mean, he was the one when you talk about getting a rebound, leading the fast break, getting the ball out, being the man, the defense on the Boston Lakers legacy is known more for showtime. Boston's legacy is known more for tough defense, grinding, and they're gonna score with Larry. But they were defense. The way he made the middle, and obviously since Bill played, rules have been changed. The lane has been lengthened out
Because of what?
A lot of stuff has been in place because of what Wilt Kareem and Bill Russell was doing to make the game even. Just like they changed a lot of rules for Shaq to make the game even. And that's why I put those guys in the top 10. When I gotta start making rules because you're gonna dominate my game and possibly sink my whole game, you're gonna become bigger than my game. And
but what rule have they changed for Russell? They didn't change anything for Russell. They didn't do anything for Russell. To me, if Russell played in this league right now, or any basketball where the African Americans dominated the league again, like when we watched Celtics back then, people were dribbling with one hand. They were shooting head shots with one hand. They couldn't move. He dominated in an era where, let's just face it, brothers, there wasn't a lot of brothers playing. It wasn't like that.
But Wilt was playing. And see, a lot of these rules are being accounted for being changed because of Wilt. But Bill also had to, he was the same rules that they changed for Wilt. Bill was taking advantage of those because he was big.
Yeah, I have to be careful. I have to be careful because I don't want to sound like a hater. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on us.
Right, at that time, 6'9", 6'10" was big. The biggest person probably was Dolph Shades. And they changed rules because Dolph Shades, the goaltender came there because of him.
But Dolph Shades, George Michael, them people not playing basketball in this era.
Basketball has always been, this is what I'm saying, basketball has always been a big man's game. And in order for the little man to play, that had to come Bill Wilt so they can say, okay, if we're going to continue forward and the little man going to play, we got to change rules. They pioneered the game and showed us what rules need to be changed so that we can have a Michael Jordan, so we can have a LeBron, so we can have a Kobe. And we don't have these guys to dominate and show us what we need to get these other guys. So I'm never going to, like now, I say in culture, I all learn their history. I'm never going to discount my history because without my history, we don't have the great people that we have today that can push us forward. So
I understand. I understand. This is not a debate.
Not only he made on the court, but off the court to give black people opportunities to keep playing in the NBA.
Look, man, the things that Russell went through to get in and fight through adversity, I grant all that. I'm just saying I have to go with my eye test and what I see. And when
the players we're watching today, and I think the league is in great hands because the players we're watching today, they're better than the players we were watching in the 90s. But I'm not going to discount what Jordan and Magic and Bird and Barkley.
I watched them. I saw them.
You can't agree that the guys that are playing in their league now, they shoot way better than the guys Snoop Graham and Ken Norman and all these guys used to have these kids. So I'm like, y'all can't shoot y'all wide open. But Jordan won championship playing against these bums. But I don't count that against Jordan.
It
He's
wasn't
still
all
in my
bum. Who was bums?
Snoop Brown, Ken Norman,
He
and
didn't-
all these other guys who couldn't shoot, they couldn't defend.
Remember,
but they
strength was a
because
skill
they had
then.
size. Right,
Strength was,
strength, right. Exactly. Now strength is not a skill. You better be able to shoot and defend. You better be a 3-and-D guy, or you're not gonna be in the league. So I'm not gonna discredit Jordan, Magic, and Bird, and all those great players who came up in the '90s against less skilled players that we're watching right now. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not gonna do it to Bill Russell either. Yes, the players are in the skilled, are way more skilled now than when Bill Russell played. But the game changed because of what Bill and Wilt did. They made you put a restriction line in. They made you stretch the paint out. They made you have 3 seconds in the paint. They made you have to not go 10. They made it to where these little guys can do the stuff that we're being entertained to do. If they didn't do that, this would always be a big man game. You have to be 6'8" or better to play that. So I gotta have the dominant players in the top 10. That's why Shaq in there. He can't shoot a lick. He has no basketball skills, but he dominates. And they had to put this
what do
on
you mean no
him because
basketball skills?
I'm saying Shaq didn't have real basketball. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot threes. He couldn't shoot free throws. He can't dribble and bring the ball up the court. He's not good on the pick and roll, but he's 7'4", 320. If I give it to him in the paint, he gonna dunk on everybody.
You remember
And that's
Shaq in
what he-
Orlando when he used to push the rock?
I know
what
what Shaq did. I know what Shaq did. I know the NBA said, okay, we got to get this man-to-man out of here. Because if we keep playing man-to-man, he's going to wreck our league. Let's put this zone in. Let's make the league of the players zone that way. And you got it right. So the league made a way to make it even for everybody. But Shaq was going to wreck the league. Yeah, they just played man-to-man the way they were playing man-to-man back then. That's why his dominance is what it is.
But you have a
That's
strong
why
double.
you got to just check top 10. But he wasn't a highly skilled basketball player. Come on. That's the little guys are skilled. The big men are big.
I think
That's
what I want to, I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to miss when you said Shaq. Now we got to remember Shaq was his footwork, man. But his footwork, but you rarely seen. Listen to me. You rarely seen guys with the footwork of Shaq at that size.
Hakeem Olajuwon, he ain't got nothing on Hakeem Olajuwon. Stop.
He don't, but he was.
He ain't got nothing on Steve Nash and all these other guys. He was not special with the footwork. He was special with being big and having that kind of athletic ability. He moved like a guard as a 7-footer, 320.
Shaq didn't dunk every play. Shaq didn't dunk every play.
Damn near, it was either that or that little short hook. He wasn't shooting on 15-foot jumpers. That's what you didn't see.
Right, he was smart.
Right, exactly. If I'm 7'2", 320 with cat-like quickness, I move like a guard. I'm a dunk every time. That's why he was dominant. Come on, now are we gonna act like Cat was Dirk Nowitzki now? Are we gonna do that? Okay,
I'm saying for his footwork ability to move, he couldn't
footwork
just
ability was no greater than Hakeem Olajuwon or Steve Nash or any Kevin McHale. He was dominant in all levels.
What was the difference between?
He didn't have better footwork than Kevin McHale. He's a hell of a lot better player than Kevin.
I'm not comparing to Kevin McHale. What was the difference between? What was the difference between Tree Rollins and Shaq? They both about the same size.
Shaq dominant. Shaq can move like a cat. Tree Rollins move like a tree. That's why they call him Tree.
You just made my point for me.
That's my point. You said the man
skill.
He wasn't skilled.
You can't just say just because
he was a phenomenon. He was Usain Bolt. You don't see 6'5" guys that can run a 3.8. Usually track guys are small, 5'8", 5'9". Usain Bolt was an anomaly. Shaq was an anomaly. He was a 7-foot, 300-pound guy that moved like a 6'3" guard. That's what he was. That's why he dominated. He didn't have such a skill. He was just dominant at what he did.
Those are skills. Those are skills. Maybe we're talking semantics, but those are skills.
A skill is the sky hook. The sky hook is a skill. That's a shot. Kareem could go out 20 feet and hit the sky hook, and it's good. He can go to the free throw line and shoot 7 to 8%. He can do some things. KD can put the ball on the floor. AD, Jokic, they can put the ball
on the floor. They can pass with high efficiency. Some of these guys on defense are very good playing the pick and roll. You saw Robert Williams put on he just put on a classic in the final. He made him a whole lot of money because he showed you how to play the pick and roll the right way. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Shaq was none of that. But what he was what nobody else in the history of the game could be. 7 feet, 320, and move like D-Wade. That's what he did. He was a phenomenal athlete. And that's why he dominated. But skill, he wasn't a highly skilled basketball player at all. I don't know what you watching.
No, I know what I'm watching, but when you say people say skill, you just can't. I just don't believe you can't say that somebody isn't skilled just because skills are different. Skills are different.
Is it dunking at 7 feet, 320? You should dunk at 7 feet. Everybody who's 7 feet know how to dunk. That's not a special skill to me. Skills are shooting, dribbling, and passing on a high clip. With Steph Curry,
what's dunking? What's dunking? Everybody can't dunk like that. That's quite a talent.
At 7 feet, you can.
Okay.
Nate Robinson dunking, yeah, that's great. Steph Curry dunking, yeah, but when you 7 feet, I'm not impressed by any 7 foot I've ever seen in the league. Well, I say, damn, he can dunk the ball. He's 7 feet. Jokic dunk. Oh wow, I can't believe Jokic dunk. He's 7 feet. He's supposed to dunk. What are you talking about? It's a big man's game. The rim is 10 feet. You already strong. You put your arm up, ball in the ring. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the way Shaq. That was his skill. The way he was able to
just. He's 7'2". He's 7 feet 2. He's 7 foot 2. 320.
When you get 7 foot 2.
Okay, that's what he weighed.
Yeah, right. When he's at the Lakers, his first, them 3 years in the Lakers.
Okay, and he moved like D-Wade. That's the problem for everybody in the league.
So you just
most 7-footers don't move like that.
Right. I'm saying he's the most dominant. I'm saying he's most dominant, but he had to have enough. He had enough coordination that he has to be given credit for.
He did. Okay, I can give him credit because he can walk straight without falling. You're right. Most 7-footers can't walk straight without falling on their ass. I give him credit for knowing how to walk straight at 7 feet. Okay, you got it.
Okay, so
man, stop playing. You tripping right now, bro.
No, you tripping, dude.
No, come on. You had to like that was a Team Elijah one.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. You always put words in my mouth. I did not say that.
Give me the skill that Shaq has. We need to qualify this. You need to ask the whole panel that you got on. Is that qualified as is dunking at 7 feet 2? Is that a skill? You can ask everybody else. I already know.
I'm saying strength.
If you're 7 foot 2 and you can dunk, is that a skill?
His strength was a skill.
Oh, you already did. You can lift weights. How's that a skill? You strong. And that's a skill. Okay, ask everybody in the panel. Is being strong a skill?
Shaq's ability to see out, recognize the double team and make the right play. That was one of his skills.
He wasn't a great pass out the double team. He barely averaged. He probably averaged under 4 assists in his career. He's not Jokic. No, stop.
I didn't say that.
Okay,
I'm saying
he wasn't a great passer. He wasn't Bill Walton. He wasn't Bill Walton.
Being able to recognize it.
He wasn't Tim Duncan as a passer. No, he wasn't. Sorry. Try again.
He was good enough. He was good enough at it. But I'm saying he had a certain set of skills.
That's what he had. They had skills. He didn't have skills. He was dominant in size only. He didn't have
skill. We just
okay. Just ask the rest of the panel. It's size skill. Just ask the rest of the panel. It's other people on here. Ask them. It's size skill. I'm waiting.
It's size of skill.
It's size of skill.
Strength.
Right.
That's a skill.
Okay, ask. I'm waiting for it. They answer.
When you said you got your 10, if you putting Curry in there, I don't know if you see the notes.
I got stuff in there. Okay,
so who you taking out?
I ain't taking nobody out. I just put him in. Who would be able to take out?
No, I'll read them to you. Like I said, by most rankings, Russell, Jordan, Shaq, Bird, LeBron, Kareem, Duncan, Wilt, and Magic.
I could take Al Bird, to be honest with you. I think he's better than Bird. I think he's accomplishment. Whether he's better than Bird or meant more to his team or more to the NBA, that's different. But when you want to rank a guy and what he's done and his accomplishments dwarf what Bird did.
Right.
To me.
Exactly. I take Bird out.
Bird has some low moments.
More moments. How?
I'm not talking, but we're talking about look
Low
at
moments.
yeah. So
Championship '81, he had like a
12-point games or something, yeah, like in that effect, yeah.
Right, Curry got more tips than Bird, averaged more points in the finals than Bird, got a unanimous MVP. Now, Bird got more MVPs because he got 3, but Steph Curry is the only person in the history of the game to get a unanimous MVP, and he changed the way the game is played.
Right.
I'm sorry, he eclipsed Bird. Bird is still top 15, great player. They don't knock Bird, but Steph's still playing. See, Steph can still mess around on the note.
Yeah.
Greatest player ever to play. By the time it's all said and done, we just talking about today.
Well,
Right.
He got to
He went 2 more tips in a row.
Well, yeah,
So you know what that gonna mean? That gonna mean he went to 10 finals in 8 years and he won 6 tips. He's arguably, and he can shoot the best out of anybody ever to play. He'll be arguably the greatest player to ever play because he'll be the shortest, greatest player to ever play. That's how Michael Jordan got his fame. Michael Jordan got his fame that he's the shortest, greatest player to ever play in a big man's game. Big man dominate.
Right. I don't think you're gonna get I don't know if he ever be. I mean, maybe he wins so many, but there's only so much time left. Eclipsing Jordan because people are taking points away for those Durant. It was just unfair. I'm sorry. It was
do what they want. I'm sorry. Jordan had Dennis Rodman, Kukoc, and Scottie Pippen. And 3 of them were top 75 all-time players. And you have Phil Jackson, who arguably they call him the greatest coach of all time. So stop. Everybody want to get something, and then
Curry went 73-9. Curry went 73-9. They choked it up in that final game, Game 7. He had a terrible game. He got to lift them there.
One had bad finals games too, but somehow he had great teams.
But when it came down to it, he came through.
So, championships are not individual awards.
They're not.
Team.
They're not. But he closed it out. The shot, the skill, the shot. He closed it out. Curry don't have that.
It don't matter. Like Curry still playing. We saying if Curry win 2 more chips. Okay, then he might have a shot to walk off on his 6 points.
Hey, Maurice, you can say this because when Montana was on top in the NFL, everybody said he was the greatest quarterback of all time. And now who's the greatest of all time? Tom Brady, because he kept winning. Even though he's lost some titles or whatever, lost some Super Bowls, his winning has made him the greatest of all time. So, yes,
of all time.
but
right, best and greatest are 2 different things.
Greatest opportunist of all time. What you say, Hancock? Can't hear you for some reason.
Tom Brady. Oh, go ahead.
I can't hear you, Hancock. We can't hear
you. Another couple MVPs. It's gonna be tough to hold him out.
Right.
Well, yeah. But I just think when you get the legacy and you start nitpicking, ultimately he shouldn't have let Durant come there. I mean, yeah, you want more championships, but when it comes to legacy and nitpicking, people are gonna say, well, you had Durant for 2 years.
Dude, that's getting farther and farther in the rear view. When he won this year, people are forgiving those already. If you listen to the pundits, the people that cause all the noise, that's getting to be less of a talking point because he won. Whatever you say, he won one before he got there. And he won another one when Durant.
Right. Guess what?
I need another one.
KD went and joined Steph. Steph didn't go join KD. So at the end of the day, you're in the league where Brian opened it up for the players to make moves.
But remember, Steph didn't recruit. They recruited him.
Like I said, we're living in the era of LeBron. The era where guys do what they want to do, move how they want to move, join up how they want to join up, as long as you get championships. That's all that matters. And Steph Curry, the moves he made has been better than everybody else's moves because his moves are calculated the championship. And then at the end of the day, like you said, when the next generation comes on, they're not gonna remember KD because KD legacy by that time might be some trash. So they might be like, Steph really carried KD to 2 chips, but they're not here to get it in contact. Just like a lot of people wasn't being to get what happened with the Bulls in context. What happened with the Celtics in context? What happened with the Pistons and the Lakers? All we remember is these folks won championship. Not that Magic got hurt, Isaiah got hurt,
Exactly.
Bird. Right. We don't remember all that stuff. We just know they won a championship. That's it.
No, it's
And just
gonna be remembered. Go ahead,
Yep.
Hancock.
But you remember the argument on the sideline between Durant and Draymond? And Draymond's final words was, "We don't need you anyway." And he proved it this year. We don't need you anyway to win. They won it again. All that other stuff, it's passed by. They proved it that they can be without it.
They did, but I think they for Steph's legacy, I think they got to get another one.
For his what? See, that's my point. Now that they postponed it,
He had two him and Durant hurt each other's legacy. Them 2 championships.
how is his legacy hurt when he got 4 titles?
Because he let Durant come and it was unfair.
What was
Okay.
KD? What has KD done to make people be like, it's KD the reason? No, it looked like Steph is the reason. Don't look like KD. KD got swept by the same team Steph just got a 10th final MVP from. KD got swept by that team. So, I don't know what all this. It sounds like media talk to me. That don't sound like
Well, James,
real.
are you a part of the media? Are you what are you? A historian? You always don't criticize me for what I speak. You speak to us like we don't.
I'm not under the media.
Okay.
Right. The media
Okay.
didn't know me because I was too truthful, too honest. I don't play that game. That's fantasy.
fine.
I play real life. It's teams win. Right. Like Steph won, KD lost. And KD
You keep moving.
No, I didn't. No.
He losing after Steph. It's just like Kyrie. Kyrie was losing before LeBron. He losing after LeBron. So why I'm finna sit here and say, oh yeah, LeBron needed Kyrie. Without Kyrie, LeBron couldn't do that. No, LeBron the man. Kyrie the one that ain't that. He needs LeBron.
But Steph and them knew they needed KD to beat LeBron. They should have ran it back and said we was up 3-1. We're gonna run it back and beat this team this time. But no, they went and got KD. That goes against them.
They would have beat him anyway if they wouldn't have did that bull with Draymond. They'd have won that series.
But he punched again, Hancock. Remember when he came up, he punched again. That's what got him suspended.
If I step over you, your arm's gonna go up too, man. You gonna step over a man and he gonna lay there.
But not saying when he pushed up, but remember after that he punched the second time.
I don't see the second time. I think that was bogus. I think that was bogus.
That's one game. You still gotta win. You still got 3 games, 2 games
Right.
in your house.
And that's on Curry.
I'm not in on
Curry.
You lost Bogey also. You lost your big man. You lost Draymond. I agree with you. They had a chance to win, but I think that threw off the series.
Why that can't be on LeBron James? Why that can't be on LeBron James?
Hold on, James. What you say, Henry?
I was just going to say, as far as, 2 things. So as far as Curry's legacy, I don't think that, it affects his legacy. I think that, he had, there was another superstar there. But I think if we're going to say if it affects somebody's legacy, then it has to be applied across the board. Like, you don't hear people apply that to LeBron. When he won with Wade.
Oh, I applied to him. No, my fault.
And he won with AD. And matter of fact, AD really put him on the back to help that team win that championship. So he's had another star with him to help him win a lot of his championships, but he doesn't get any knock. He's still considered, top 1 or 2 best players, regardless. So I don't think that there should be any knock on Steph. Steph, for me, ranks, and I preface this is that, he's one of my favorite players. So besides Tatum, those are my 2 top favorite players. With that said, when I look at the ESPN top 10 players, I can't put Steph there right now. Because,
You muted yourself.
Oh, so I have number 10 at Shaq. Did y'all hear everything else I was saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there's Shaq, there's Kobe, there's Tim Duncan, there's Bird, Wilt, Magic, Russell, Kareem, and Ron and Jordan. And even though, yeah, I mean, some of these players I never got to see play, so I didn't get to witness, Kareem, not Kareem, but I didn't get to witness Russell or Wilt and them play. But I don't think it takes away necessarily from their greatness. The people, the kids who are watching today, they've never seen Michael Jordan play. They never witnessed him unless they're watching, some videos and things like that. Yet he's still considered the best. Now in their eyes, all they have to compare is mainly LeBron. So they may come with an argument saying, okay, LeBron is, the best. But when I look at there, I think that he can, replace Bird. But I think that he will, in a couple of years, if he keeps on the same track that he's on, whether it's with championships or as he moves up the ranking of scoring, as well as he moves, scores a lot more points, he'll move highly up in, up there as well. And I think he will, can eventually become in the top 10. But right now, he's just outside of my top 10.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, but I do not. As far as the if I'm a fan of Curry. I'm not a big fan. I'm not really a big fan of anybody. That I'm more of a either I don't like people or they're okay. And prefaces, I never was a fan of Kobe. I didn't like Shaq when he was in LA. Just even though I knew how great he was, and never been a fan of LeBron, not personally, but
Who you like?
Jordan. I like Jordan. I like that Pistons team.
I wonder if that's because of Carolina.
Yeah, but then after that, it's been I guess
I ain't on everybody.
No, I like Durant, but I now when it comes to LeBron, now he did the GM and everything. Greatest GM of all time, greatest title chaser, greatest title chaser of all time.
He's greatest athlete ever played any sport.
He's not greater than Michael Jordan.
Clearly, he's not even close.
Why he ain't build nobody up? Why he just going, hey man, come play with me, come play with me?
Look how many players got killed because of LeBron. Look what teams had to do to. Man, LeBron changed the whole.
Look who Jordan brought up with him and like, let's go get this. Let's beat the best
team. Jordan was great. He's in my room, but he didn't change the league. LeBron did that. He took the power from the white folks. And I'm always give LeBron. No, LeBron is that dude. I'm sorry. He went to 8 chips in a row.
Yeah, in the East he had the ultimate advantage over.
But no, because he took a team where J.R. Smith was his second best player to the chip. And then the next year he left and they went to the lottery with the same team. That's great.
What are you talking about? Kyrie Irving was second best player. What are you talking about?
No, Kyrie hadn't got hurt. Kyrie injury prone. He don't really play.
Oh, you talking about in the 15? But they was clear. They was clear.
Kyrie only played 1 year with LeBron. He only played 1 whole year with LeBron. They won it.
He played in 17. He played in 17.
Look, Kyrie got hurt.
He played in 17.
That last year they played, Kyrie didn't play.
He played in that finals. They got beat 4-1 by Golden State. He was in that finals. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying he didn't play the whole series. That's what I'm saying. He didn't play the whole series. They got got beat. That was J.R. Smith, George Hill. I'm gonna tell you it was.
No, you think about 18. You think about 18.
Yeah,
I said 17.
Then Kyrie left. Yeah, Kyrie left and went to Boston after that.
18. Yeah, I'm talking about 17. You said he had 2 healthy years. He had 2 healthy years with LeBron.
The 1 year he got hurt, so they went to the finals.
They won in 16.
I don't count that.
Listen, James, they won in 16.
Yeah,
Durant went to Golden State. Cleveland made it back. They got beat 4-1.
Right, they got lost to Durant. Right, I wasn't even. I'm
Right.
talking about the last when he took J.R. Smith and George Hill and those guys to the field, and then the next year they was in the lottery.
Yeah,
Like that was
the
amazing.
East was so weak. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
It wasn't weak. LeBron was just great. So soon LeBron
They
left,
were-
now all of a sudden the East got. You know what? Maybe it was weak. So when LeBron went to the West, you notice how all those guys in the West ran out East,
Who?
including KD. When LeBron was in the East, nobody wanted to come to the East. They wanted to stack up to try to beat LeBron. Let's stay in the West. Let's try to get LeBron. When LeBron finally came out West, everybody went to the East.
Well,
And
KD
now
had
the
to.
East dropped
KD knew he miscalculated. He knew he had to leave Golden State.
yeah.
He knew he had to
Right.
leave. So he
Damn right he had to leave. Damn right he
it
had
wasn't
to
because of LeBron. He'd already beat
Right.
LeBron.
No,
It
because
wasn't 'cause of
Draymond
that.
called for pick, and then we can win it without you. And then they win it without him because he is a bitch.
Right,
Right.
but before that, Draymond was in the car crying, saying, "We need you, man, because we can't beat
They
LeBron.
did. They did because
You can't
the
be
whole-
double-minded. You can't be double-minded. It's one or the other."
Once LeBron, no, because I said once LeBron left, he was like, "No, we don't need you no more. Like we straight now. We need you just like KD knew. Everybody knew if we don't stack up, we're not gonna beat LeBron. That's the only way we're gonna beat LeBron. We gotta stack up.
They was already
Okay.
beating LeBron. He's under 500. Like, I mean, nobody in the East, yeah, because he had all the talent on his
Who was
team in
beating
Miami and Cleveland.
Who was
Yeah.
beating LeBron?
Everybody out west beat him. San Antonio, throughout the rattle off, Golden State.
I thought you were saying KD and Steph, so they couldn't do nothing with Bron. But yeah, Tim Duncan, them season teams who already had 4-5 championships, yeah, they were strapped up to Hall of Fame. Right. You got Ginobili, Kawhi, and Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan, and you got the coach and the role players. Yeah, they were better.
James, a wise man knows if one guy stacks his deck, then I'm gonna have to stack my deck too.
Exactly.
That's
You
not
got to understand why the
But-
stats
but-
start getting.
right. But
but
LeBron would have been
years
greater
old,
if he wouldn't have stacked his deck so much.
No,
he would have a greater
stop.
legacy.
That's silly.
He would
That's
have a
silly
greater
talk.
legacy.
That's not basketball talk. That's that fantasy media talk that I
No,
won't have
look
no
at the
part in.
history
But I
of the
will
league.
tell you some facts.
Look at the
We
history
will
of the
talk
league.
facts. We don't talk history of the league.
Look
'Cause
at
that's
the
what I
history of
do.
the
I'm
league.
just you. At 22 years old, LeBron James knocked out that Detroit Pistons team that had just knocked out that Lakers team with Shaq and Kobe. At 22 years with Bobby Gibson and these other balls as his primary players. The league then knew we got to strap up. So Boston went out and got KD, Paul, and Ray Allen to stop
Right.
LeBron from running the East. That was the first time in the recent history that, and it wasn't the first time, but it was the new era of a team being stacked. It wasn't LeBron's team. It was Boston. So all LeBron did was said, okay, if the teams are going to stack up to beat me, a 22-year-old, what I have to do, because ain't nobody coming to Cleveland, what I have to do is not let these white folks control my destiny. I got to put the power in my, just the
Right.
fact.
James, he could have went. James, he could have went to. He
I
could have
got to
went to
put the
Miami.
power.
He could have went to Miami. He could have went to Miami without Bosh. He could have went to Miami without Bosh, and it would be
Why?
better for his legacy
Bosh
because you got a
wants to
1-2
go.
punch. You don't need a 3-headed monster. You need a 1-2
that's
punch.
But KD didn't have to go to Boston either. They could have just had Ray Allen and Paul. But Ray Allen could have not went. They could have just had Kevin.
Remember, Kevin Garnett didn't want to go. They had to convince him, like, man, we got something here. They're gonna make this
But
trade.
he went.
Right.
Right? Because that's why he went.
But he
I got you right. He went because he let the owners and the general managers decide his fate. LeBron said, I'm not going to let these people decide my fate.
That's fine.
These owners,
But LeBron's fate, when you say LeBron's fate, LeBron stepped into the league as the chosen one. So the league
Right.
already anointed him as their next star,
Right.
as their next Jordan.
right. And he lived up.
To go,
He's the only player in the history of sports to actually live up to the hype.
that don't make sense for the league to go against their next chosen one, not financially. So when he stepped on the scene, he was already considered the
Right.
chosen one, right?
Right.
He didn't go like and say, "Oh, I'm going to make my own destiny." They were already going to put that in place for him.
Oh, so you said they was going to move him to Miami or somewhere regardless. Once they start Cleveland, I'm asking you a question. you're saying that once they saw he wasn't gonna win in Cleveland because Cleveland didn't have the cachet to get players to come play with the greatest player in the league, that the league was gonna find a way to get LeBron to Miami or LA or New York or where he needs to be to win.
Absolutely, because he.
All right, so tell Maurice to stop knocking LeBron for what the league was gonna do anyway.
No,
He was gonna do that. He was there.
Right, he's right though. He's right. That's what the league. That's in every league. That's what they do when they find a great player. If they say, okay, we got to market this player, we got to make money. If he's not winning this situation, they either find a way to get players to go in that situation with him, or they put him in a situation where he can't win. So the league gets revenue off that player. That's how all the leagues work. So Maurice, please stop acting brand new to sports entertainment, please. Thank you, sir, for pointing that out to Maurice.
I'm not acting brand new. I'm just saying
Yes, you are.
he could
You're
have.
acting brand new whole show. Like you don't know what the hell going on out here.
Well, I don't think a conspiracy like you. I just think straightforward.
I'm not no conspiracy.
I don't think about all that.
Everybody here on the panel
Right.
trying to tell you stuck on fantasy Skip Bayless, La La Land.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that man could have built his legacy better. You got to take them guys and build them up. You can't be stacking the deck if you want to be the greatest player
He got
ever.
Kyrie a championship. Kyrie don't got no championship without LeBron. He got J.R. Smith a championship. J.R. Smith had no real without LeBron. He got Emmitt Stopper a championship. He got Anthony Davis a championship. He got
Anthony Davis is already made.
No, he
already
wasn't. Stop
made.
playing. Anthony Davis still not made. He just like Kyrie. They not made. They just made LeBron. He got Tyronn Lewis.
They were already formed talents.
Right, both of the championship. Come on, man. Stop.
They were already formed talents. When you know where I'm going at, when you compare him to who I think the greatest is, I know that Jordan got Grant and Pippen to get on board and let's go beat the Pistons.
Jordan don't got no championships without Scottie Pippen.
No,
Rodman was a made man before he went to Chicago.
I didn't say Rodman. I said Grant. You're not listening.
Before he went to Chicago. So how you gonna knock LeBron? Let's not join through then. Let's not join through then.
You're not listening.
Because Rodman was a made man.
You're not listening.
Okay, you're not making sense.
Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, Jordan brought them up so they could beat the Pistons. And then they took over for 3 years.
Exactly. Derrick Cross drafted those guys.
He built them.
Didn't build him up. They built him up. Jordan didn't win nothing without Scottie Pippen.
James.
He won 0 rings.
James, I'm reading Scottie Pippen's book right now. Scottie Pippen clearly admits how much he knew he had. He got
Scottie Pippen is the top 75 player.
Right, but he wasn't at first. Nobody
Dennis
knew.
Rodman is the top 75 player. They're also both first ballot Hall of Fame.
Why
So
you
how
keep
did
bringing?
you make them?
Would you listen, man? Please, would you listen?
Not making sense.
Would you listen? Would you listen? You gotta let me get my point
Okay,
out.
get it out. It don't make sense. If you said Jordan made Pippen, I'm not gonna accept it. So,
But that don't mean you have to. You shouldn't. Still shouldn't
it's not
interrupt me.
true. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
Jordan helped Pippen and Grant advance so they could become.
They helped Jordan too.
They did because they got better by them
Okay, it's
getting
a
better.
team. It's a team. Derrick Cross put them on the team. Jordan didn't go pick them. At least LeBron picked these guys.
Right. Cleveland didn't. Now I give you credit. Cleveland didn't. They didn't draft well. They didn't pick up Jerry Krause, the genius for what he did with those guys. But those guys had to come up to the level. The Last Dance, everything you read clearly indicates that and explains that.
They had 5 championships on the Last Dance. That Last Dance was a 6.
I'm talking about.
5-time champions.
You ain't heard me one time. I'm talking about 91, 92, and 93. When
That wasn't the
team,
Last Dance.
I'm using that because it was in the. It was in that. I'm just saying what was in that documentary.
You going off TV program, not what you actually live. Because you was alive watching basketball. You didn't have to watch the Last Dance to go get any new information about the 91, 92, 93, 98.
The only book I read was the Jordan Rules.
I learned nothing new by watching the Last Dance.
That's
I was in my
fine.
prime as a fan when that was all going down. I knew everything about basketball and Michael Jordan. When they had Rodman was in Las Vegas, I remember all that. It was been reported. So no, the Last Dance don't really keep me stepping. It just took me back to when I was at that time.
You're not listening, James. You're not listening.
Because you're not making sense.
No, when I say stuff, I wasn't there. I wasn't
If you
recording on
saying
the
that
stuff.
Jordan
Let me
made
speak.
Scottie Pippen,
Let me speak, man. I wasn't there. I have to go off other resources. I wasn't there.
You
When
ain't
I saw
watching
them
back.
win 91, 93, I was a child. I was a fan. I'm still a fan. But I have to use resources that I know, quotes that I've heard, books,
I'm your
books
resource
that I
because I know
books,
way more basketball
books that
than
I
them people
read.
that you think you learning from. They ain't
No,
taught you nothing.
but I know
You
that
ain't been
Jordan.
watching basketball long enough. I've been watching basketball since '87. In it, studying. You just
Okay,
told me you ain't been in it, so listen to me and stop standing off the TV media feeding you these lies. You talking crazy, bro. This is not basketball. You talking sports entertainment. Let's talk real basketball. Not this stuff you hearing out Sports Center and Stephen A. It's not bad. That's entertainment.
Can I add something to this
James, you made your
conversation?
point, man. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. I know that I was super young too when The Last Dance came out, but it helped me recall those memories. Cause I mean, God, that was 20 plus years ago. So it helped you kind of dig back into those memories. Like I didn't know how much Pippen was underpaid, you know what I'm saying? But I know they signed contracts then. Pippen didn't have enough energy a little bit before his time to hold out, you know, because of his family, his background in Central Arkansas and all that stuff. So it let me bring light to that. Like, I guess he knew that. But again, as a basketball fan and being so young when that happened, so I learned a lot through it. And not to be like comparing basketball knowledge or whatever, but some things that you're saying are a bit weird because you're saying that, you know, Jordan could not have won without Pippen, but clearly Pippen couldn't win without Jordan. So it's like, it was a team effort. Like guys knew their role back then. The whole game is different then than now. So it makes me a little upset when they try to compare eras. Oh, Golden State would have beat Michael Jordan there. Man, there's two different generations, man. You can't compare
Exactly.
and how the game was played. You know, like you can all try in the whole made up cloud world in your mind to see who would win, but it's like I personally, I mean, I don't know what y'all were talking about, but I know Jordan, in my little humble opinion, is like the best player that ever walked the planet, right? So you got Jordan, and then I think LeBron is right there with him. Maybe 2 or 3, that's debatable, but I mean, I wouldn't have that dude lower than 5 because he's done more with less. I mean, he made
He's done
guys
less.
like Mo
He's done
Williams.
less with more. He's had most of the talent on his squad, and he only got 4
Okay.
championships.
Yeah,
Mo Williams.
yeah,
Hold up, Mo
he
Williams.
ain't been watching basketball that long.
Delonte Mess and Mo Williams bringing them to NBA
Right.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
These guys are not that. I mean, come on, man.
Mike,
So
when he got to Miami, they had the stacked deck.
okay, you talking about the stacked deck? What about the unstacked decks?
No, that's fine. That's what makes him great. That's why I'm saying if he would have stayed on that path, I know it. He felt like, okay, well, I got to make some moves, obviously. Fine and
yes,
dandy.
this team was not better. This team was not better down there in Cleveland.
They couldn't.
Stop, man.
James, you're entitled to your opinion, but I mean, I'm entitled to mine, dude.
That's the only opinion. That's the only freaking opinion to be your own, own man, and not let these people run your career, even if you run it down the road, bro. What you talking about?
I'm saying when I said that, he said he stacked that takes away you stacking the deck.
No, it doesn't. That's TV stuff, bro.
No, that's
you
fine.
Came up on the fantasy. You came up with players that are not in control of their own situation. When general managers and owners could do what the hell they want to do. When the market was the way the market, LeBron came to change all of that for the better.
Yeah,
sports.
It's not like he did anything illegal.
Wow.
It's not like he did anything illegal.
He still didn't get. He's still not even above 500 for championships.
You still looking at this fairy tale championship.
I'm not.
It's not about championship, Maurice.
No, James. James, listen.
Breaking news.
No,
it's not about
you said. You said you thought why LeBron you thought was the greatest player. I told you why I thought Michael Jordan was the greatest player.
Michael Jordan is the greatest player. And Kareem, I told you that in the show. I said I got 6 guys who at any time can be argued as the greatest player. And I named them all. So yes, Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time.
No, he's not saying one of the greatest players. It seemed like you said one.
Okay. Jordan can be if you want Jordan number 1, that's fine. He's great enough to be number 1. He did so much in the league outside of winning championship. You gotta look at
Right.
the scoring title, the MVP, the all defensive team. Then he
Right,
took
right.
the shoot game to a whole nother level, and then he became the first and only black owner in professional sports. So I'm not gonna diminish Jordan ever, but I'm not gonna use Jordan to diminish LeBron and any other great player because they did it different. Because the time is different, the era is different, everything is
Right.
different. George Floyd got killed on TV with a knee in the back of his neck. On today, that's different. That didn't happen when George was playing. Instagram, Twitter, all that went out. The era of the TV talk shows hating on great players every morning that wasn't out when George was out.
Right.
So it's different, bruh.
And that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying just for debate's sake, nobody is right. I'm pretty sure you understand the purpose of an argument. Nobody's right. But you said
Because-
one guy was great. I just had to present why I thought another guy was greater, or why one guy should be not as held as high as he should be. I just don't think LeBron should be held as
Why
high
we
as he
not
should be.
great? Why
No, I
we
said-
not grateful for?
No, I
When
said-
they start,
I
I
said
asked my friend. I said,
Wait,
at what
okay, so-
year? Tell me at what year. Somebody on the panel, please. Let me just ask this one question.
Okay.
At what year, if you can recall, at what year did it start being fashionable to hate on all-time great players? I'm talking about the top of the top, the greatest of the great. In what year did it start being fashionable to just nitpick and hate on all-time great players? What year did that start?
I don't know how to answer that.
Because it wasn't with Michael
I don't
Jordan.
hate on. I don't hate on great players. I don't
Right.
even.
Like Mayweather can't do good, Tiger Woods can't do good, LeBron can't do good, Kobe can't do good. And like I'm like, why these are the best players that we got. These are Steph Curry getting criticized. I'm like, these are the greatest players I've seen.
Okay.
And
okay,
like and what they been talking about, like they some trash.
yeah. Because in the media,
Well,
the
it's
media
just
Right.
the way. I mean, that's just the era we're in.
The
I mean,
media
that's
likes
the way
the
the media
story. The
operates.
media
But the
likes
thing,
the
it's
story.
always
Follow
been
on
like
to
that.
line. You
The
follow
media-
on to that line. For some reason, they got you with that disease where you just like to hate on great players for no freaking reason. Who do
No,
you
no.
like? Who's good?
I told you
right
I
now?
like. I told you
The
I
media,
like.
the media likes
Jordan
the
done
story.
that no more.
Who?
The media likes the story, so they like to bring back up,
Right.
the good, the bad, and try to tie it all in and talk about how the person has persevered through the struggles and all that stuff.
Right,
So
I told
that's-
you I like.
yeah.
I just
Oh,
I just
Jordan,
feel
he ain't
like
doing that.
I feel like sports is better sports is competition. Debate shows competition. I like that. That's why I
Who
have
you
this
like?
this platform.
yeah, who does he
Who you-
like? That's a great question.
I like Durant. I like Tatum. I like Luca.
So we can
Uh,
talk about Durant and how he hot.
I like
Right.
Embiid. No, we already talked about him.
He,
But I
yeah, he
still-
like all guys that lose.
Durant
Every
Durant's
year.
one. I was
He
a
lose. He
dirt.
got
I was a
swept. The only team he gets swept.
Dwayne Wade fan. Well, just because you want to jump on the bandwagon just because somebody won. Ooh.
I'm stuck on bandwagon. I get my guys right out the bat as soon as they get drafted. I tell you I like. I still like Russ Westbrook, but I still can respect LeBron. I like Luca too, but I respect LeBron.
I don't disrespect
Like,
LeBron. I just
I
have an
respect
argument.
Curry.
I just have an argument against LeBron.
Like Giannis, I like
Yeah, I
They
just
better
like
than-
him.
like just because I like a guy, I'm not gonna be like, okay, Westbrook better than Curry because I like Westbrook. I like Westbrook better than Curry, but he's nowhere near better than Curry.
Right.
Okay.
But when you ever say I never said anything that crazy. I mean, you can think it's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
if I say Michael Jordan is better, but huh?
You've been saying crazy stuff all show.
No, you've been saying crazy stuff all show. Go ahead, Cornelius.
You can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So which question which question am I answering?
No, you raise your hand. You raise your hand.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's a lot that I would like to address, but I want to make it concise. So let's start with my I don't know where I'm at. Let's it's crazy. Like, okay, top 10 Curry. So a lot of what I found out, I mean, a few of us are from Wilmington, North Carolina. Not the birthplace of Michael Jordan, but that's where he grew up, the high school, so the whole thing. And then, we grow up and they were like, hey, that guy's from here. So we have like this this whole thing, just like all the people around the world, not just because we're from the hometown, but the hometown I mean, it's no different. It's like the same, even though we're from the hometown, we could be like, nah, but it's the same for everybody. We got this special feeling. You got this guy whose parents are like 5'5". Somehow he grows to be 6'3", goes to college and becomes 6'6", can palm the basketball. I mean, so he came in and gave us game swag. He took Dr. J's game, and even I saw something recently where Dr. J was hating on him. Like, yeah, like they showed some interviews where they be like, "Who's the best?" Like, this is after, and Dr. J be like, "Yeah, nah, he ain't it." So, but he took it to another level, and business wise, the sneakers, he took it to another level. Now, Jordan had to get it from the mud, and he was a beast. Like, it's crazy. Just, God give people different gifts, and he came to the league with what he needed to dominate. And I talked to some people around here who went to high school with him, and everybody's just like, they can't believe like Mike took over like that. Like, he became this icon. So LeBron comes early 2000s, and everything shifts because the NBA is a business. Michael done created this buzz. Somebody got to take this buzz over. So he's anointed the king. And his path is a little bit different. He's a freakish athlete, bigger than Mike, maybe faster than Mike, more power, can handle like Mike. But we got to keep that narrative going. So if he stays in Cleveland and he has to build that thing organically, like Mike had to, maybe he doesn't get a Phil Jackson, because Phil Jackson really turned it around. Like, hey, we're going to have to do something else because we're not going to win championships. Okay. So, but I was a hater. As far as LeBron, because I was like, who does this? But as I got older, and I was like, I'm really mad at that man because he could just switch jobs and do, he can do what he want to do. He making money. I mean, I'm like, I want you to do it the whole way. Come on, struggle. But now he's the people's champ. He's the everyday guy. He's got that. It's that feeling. Like when you watch Curry, you get that feeling. I don't get that. I respect LeBron on the levels that, like my man said, the business, how he took. I had to look at it that way. Him and his boys took the power out of the owner's hands, and like, we gonna just go all. We don't care about the legacy. We don't care about chasing rings. Yeah, we chasing rings. We gotta go. Do what we gotta do, and now that's acceptable. But for some people that's okay. I don't have that feeling, but I do respect LeBron. With Curry, he's already won. He's undersized. He's that guy from Davidson. We don't even know Curry if they don't go on that run in 2008, whenever it was in the NCAA, and he just shoots lights out. Like, who is this kid? And then even LeBron co-signed him. They said, you think he can get in the NBA and shoot? Like, he was like, yeah. So everybody's got their greatness. It's going to change from generation to generation. That top 10 spot, that era that Michael came through, you'll never be able to recreate that. It was just a special time. Like you said, we didn't have the technology. It was just the nostalgia, the feeling. With LeBron, he's got all the stats. He's durable, one of the greatest athletes. It's just human nature to hate a little bit, or not necessarily hate, but we like what we like. We like what we like.
Can I add one thing, Cornelius?
Yes, sir.
So, as you can respect LeBron, I just understand how people just can't respect him.
This is growth. This is growth, bro. I'm talking about. I got to go back on my Facebook and delete some stuff if I get famous. And they be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he the king. Yeah, he did this. They be like, look at this joint from 2009. I was horrible. I was like a bum. I was just like, because it was just, we live vicariously through sports, and I just had to realize, like, it's such a matrix and such a pull that people will fight. People will but I had to realize, even like this championship, I had to realize, like, everybody direct deposit went through. They good. But it doesn't. But it doesn't discredit the. It doesn't. I don't want to discredit the fandom, because that's what makes it work. If we were so logical and so just, I just had to do that to ground myself, because I felt like as a grown man I was just doing too much on social media about this. And look, and if LeBron cut me a check for $2 million, I'm like, yeah, you the greatest. I mean, I'm from Wilmington, but yeah, Mike, you know what I'm saying? But the fandom is real, and people have to feel how they feel, because that's what makes this work. Everybody's gonna have their guy, and sometimes it gets a little disrespectful, or like we have the pundits or all that.
Yeah.
But let's take a guy like let's take a guy like Draymond Green. I love the Warriors. But and I want to be respectful even with him. But he is in a great position, and he gets to talk the way he talks because of the system, and he does have a skill set that works for that system. But they go back and forth with the generations, because the generations like, yo, if you played in our generation, it wouldn't be. And he gets upset because it's like that, and it's almost like it's both. I feel like both parties are right. I feel like if he was, because of the way the game was played, he'd have been undersized, and he wouldn't have been playing point forward. And now if they played in this game, the older generation would have been exploited because of the rules have changed. So right. And he gets upset. Curry benefits from the way the game is called now. So I think Curry is, as far as stats, the top 10, that could be debated, but I will say he is the people's champ, and he has a great opportunity to go on a run of winning. I think what happened to in the championship is that he understands how hard it is to get there, and I think he snapped at a certain point after they got down 2-1. And he was like, it's so hard to get here because you get hurt, you got that. And he played, he summons his, like, he played lights out because he knew like there's no guarantee.
There was no help.
Here.
Clay was off, the whole team was off. So
yeah. So he knew, he was like, and here it is. He knows I just gotta float my team. That's some of his greatness there too. It's like I have a skill set that I can lock in and I can carry us to a certain point, but then I need y'all to come in and finish it off. And that's what happened. And that's part of his greatness. With the way the league now, that I have to think about it from a player standpoint and not a fan standpoint. Because I mean, I didn't really like the KD thing, but now if I have to get in the player shoes, you are trying to get the best you can to go out on that floor and battle.
I don't think I'll ever like the KD.
So from a fan standpoint, I'm like, this is, of course y'all supposed to be. But when you between the lines, like let's say on any given night, Curry's the smallest guy.
Dang, cut out. But Mike, you got Curry in your top 10. That was the last question. You got to get ready to wrap.
Oh, that's
I don't know if you can see the list I put up, but
I didn't. Is it in the chat or something?
Yeah,
because there's a chat. Let's see one. Oh, I just see wrapping up at 5. I don't see a list.
Oh, well, basically it was most lists: Russell, Jordan, Shaq, Bird, LeBron, Kareem, Duncan, Wilt, and Magic. So if you're putting Curry in your top 10, who are you taking out?
I can't. I didn't put time to think about that. I mean, I know Curry. I mean, I know he's played in the top 15, but I don't know about 10 yet. He's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time because he has the volume. You know what I'm saying? Because guys didn't shoot threes like that, so it's kind of a different. You're not comparing apples to apples, but he is a great shooter. I think he wouldn't be able to just glide in the lane like he does now because you can't touch guys like Shaq. So, I think he would probably be hurting in the old era. That would be that dude up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you need more grit. But even though he is getting stronger, I mean, he's getting more cut now. But he wouldn't be made for the past NBA.
He would have dominated them guys. He shoots too good.
Yeah,
I
and
think
also,
Wilson, he shoots too good and his handles too good. So that's why he's the best. He's the greatest offensive player I've ever seen in the history of the game. Because he's the only guy that you have to try to pick up from 50 feet. And when his handles being so good at 50 feet, like if you try to get up on him, he's just gonna go around. He's the only player who there is 110%. There's definitely no answer for him because he can shoot so good. And if he would have played in the 80s or the 90s, because he shoots so good, he would have been lining them up.
What
And
about
they would have
hand
had
checking?
on them.
They would have a little more hand checking on them.
put some length on them to double them. Put our test on them.
Because you got when you remember when you got
put Ron Artest on
when you got hand checking, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, but you gotta get your hands on him. He's
like
the greatest player off the ball. He's the greatest player off the ball I've ever seen. Better than Reggie, better than Rip Hamilton. Without the ball, Steph Curry, he okay, thank you, you gonna hand check, and I can't get the ball. You gonna be tired. You ain't gonna be playing the fourth quarter. Those guys weren't even in the state that Steph in right now to play for 4 quarters of basketball. No,
as a coach.
Any all-time great player could have played in any era. Jordan could play now. Jordan could. Steph could play with Steph. He could play in any era because he's an all-time great player. Stop. Jason Tatum can't play in the 90s.
Nobody went against that. We just saying he would have to adjust as far as strength. I agree.
Yeah. Somebody said Steph couldn't play that. No, all-time great players can play with them because they all-time great for a reason. That's what I'm saying. I know he couldn't play in the 90s. He shoots too good. He shoots 50% for three-point range. What are you talking about? He can't play in the 90s.
Game was different.
Play back
1-on-1? No zone. You can't zone. You mean I got to get one guy who's probably gonna be the point guard on the other team? Cause that's how they did the guard. So your point guard is gonna come out here and try to guard Steph Curry 1-on-1 for 48 minutes, and he ain't gonna be no good. Stop.
Nobody plays for 48 minutes.
Stop.
Nobody plays for 48 minutes.
40 minutes.
I don't think
all
those layups.
You got a team. You got 12 men. You got to put other people on them.
Today,
right? There can't nobody follow him.
Trap them.
Right. You can do that today, but back then you got a 1-on-1 in the whole game, or else bring a double, and back then you had to bring a hard double. I mean, you couldn't play in the middle. You had to commit to the double, which means you left one man wide ass open.
That would be Draymond Green.
Leave Draymond Green open, right?
With his passing ability, that man would have been wide open. We talk about Curry. We ain't think we take Draymond back. We just said we take Steph back. So whoever that other man is, he playing that era. He gonna get the ball. He gonna drive to the open, do whatever. But he gonna be open. It ain't gonna be on Steph. He'll dominate any era.
I don't think that he would have dominated any era. You can be an all-time great, but that don't necessarily mean to me that you would dominate any era. When you look at like with how open the lane is, you can just go in and make a layup, and everybody just standing around, just looking at you as you make do a layup, and you're 6 foot.
But why is the lane open? Why is the lane open now? Why is the lane open now and it wasn't open in 1996?
That wouldn't have happened back then because you had all these true centers who were shot.
Now we talking basketball. Keep going. I love this.
These days,
we've been talking basketball.
No, we haven't. You ain't been talking no basketball. Please talk, sir. You're talking basketball. You've been talking good basketball all night. I love hearing you talk basketball. Please continue, sir.
We gonna let Henry finish his point, but we gonna keep those.
Can we end on some basketball talk? Can we let that man end on some basketball talk and not this entertainment stuff you like to spit? Please.
Boy, you just be thankful I ain't heavy on the mute button.
Just making a good point. You just
be thankful I ain't heavy on. Be thankful I ain't heavy on the mute button. He was.
Why he was trying to explain to you why there was no man in the lane today, and there was a man in the lane in the 90s. Can that man just finish that point, please, for me, sir?
But you do the most interrupting. You do the most interrupting.
And he finished. You just let that man explain.
The least amount of listening.
Go ahead, Henry. Go ahead, Henry.
I was just saying how back then the responsibilities of the centers and how 90s, early 2000s, back in the day before centers moved out a lot and started shooting a lot of 3-pointers, but also it was tougher to go down into the lane to make shots. So, and it was more physical back then. These days it is easier to just, you see players all the time, just they get past the guy and they go into the lane and make a layup.
Let's bring up the New York Knicks, right? So you got Harper guarding Curry, right? And then he get around here, you got Starks, you got a whole team defense doing, you got the bigger dudes down low, and he's gonna get hurt, man. He's not gonna just be able to. They put ribs in people trying to, like, you got hard fouls, man. You got hard fouls that are not flagrant.
He ain't gotta. Do you see what this man can do? They done revolutionized the game. They taking those
They soften the game, man. They're not revolutionary. They soften the game. They changed the rules this year for him.
Oh, the rules are the rules. The rule in basketball has always been the same, that once you pick the ball up, you can take 2 steps in any direction.
3.
Right. Well, okay. That's been the same way in the 90s. They used to let Jordan, Pat Ewing, all those guys took 3 steps too, so we ain't gonna talk about that.
No, they ain't no gather step. They got a gather step definition.
The difference is in the 90s, when they picked that ball up, they always took 2 steps forward. These players have said, no, I can take this 2 steps to the side. I can take this 2 steps back. I can take 1 step to the side and 1 step back. And for that reason, he can always get his shot off. So, I mean, it's different now. These players took the game that was in the 90s and took it to a whole nother level.
But you make a great point. But they take 1 step to the left and then 2 to the right.
Okay, they're not calling it. It's legal then. The game changed.
Yeah.
Guys can take 3 steps now. Okay. I've seen some sacking the fool. Well, plenty times sacking the fool where guys took 10 steps and then get charged for a fight. He took 10 steps.
Right.
And then you got called next.
Right. Yeah, I saw that too. The fan just stood up with his arms.
I saw it a long time.
Like, come on.
Right.
But yeah, he brought a good point. I just want to try to throw that out there.
You got something to say on this? We about to wrap.
Nah, my point's fair. I know.
I was saying, I think, despite the top 10, I mean, I think Curry, if we talk about Curry, LeBron, and Michael have all put their stamp in the game of in the history of basketball already. But I would say Curry and the Warriors with their management have a chance to maybe go on a little run like the Patriots, because Curry is like one of the easier superstars to work with. It's almost like when you go there, yeah, you want to win a championship, but you don't have the pressure of you're supposed to win a championship. Like, even with his greatness, it's like every year you feel like everybody feels like it's gonna, they're not a shoe in. Whereas with LeBron, it's like he's supposed to win because he's a great athlete and a great player. But he may not have had the best teams, or I don't. It's not always in my mind like, okay, he's going to win, because everybody's good now. I mean, you still got to deal with so many teams that's going to be good, and so when you come play for the Warriors, it's almost getting to a point where if you're a player who needs to get your value up, hey, come over here. You'll help us win the championship, and you'll get your money. So we'll see how that goes, but I wish them all the best.
We don't need to see Golden State stacking the deck no more. Just
not stacking the deck, but finding more Gary Paytons. It's like they have a system. They have a system and an atmosphere where guys want to play for Curry, and you get on this great stage, but his ego, which makes Draymond so great, because he doesn't have to have the ball. He's just like an Olympic runner, and he's just gonna run, catch the ball, shoot, and then you can come in. Like Wiggins was a great fit for them, because they're gonna always need that type of player who can get a high percentage shot, who can slow the game down, who can rebound, because you can't win always shooting those threes. But it's beautiful to be able to spread it out and slow the game down. So they're always gonna need the Wiggins, but those guys get to come on a platform that they would have never had and clear their name and get better.
And I don't see, there's no other superstar around the league who has that unique opportunity for everybody. If you go play with Bron, you about to get murdered. Like,
Right.
oh, they're not winning. Like, you be like, yo, I was doing good when I was over here. Now I'm getting murdered. I'm the same player, but I can't play the same because I got to walk on eggshells. I got to do this. So Curry has a unique opportunity for players, not necessarily superstars, but that goes again with his unique path. I mean, a lot of what's happened for Golden State, you can't write it. Like, for them to even get KD, his ankles had to be bad. And then Clay going down, that gives Poole some time. And it's crazy. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So,
and also a lot of people don't recognize that the year they got KD, just so happened was a new collective bargaining agreement year, and the salary cap had went sky high, so it afforded Golden State. That was the only year they would have been able to afford KD under the salary cap because what was going on with the collective bargaining agreement at the time. So a lot of people don't even factor that in. Like, they weren't supposed to be able to get KD.
Yeah,
a lot of unique things.
Right.
Yeah, they got a chance to be like the Spurs. Yeah, they've had a lot of even though they've had some unfortunate moments, it's been a blessing in disguise, so to speak, with them.
Right.
And they got a chance. If they're not already, they got a chance to be like the new San Antonio in a way. But
hey, if Draymond can calm down, I need him to calm down. Like,
he's gonna be. But
yeah, too, like he feeling himself like, yo, calm down, you good. I mean, but come on.
He gonna be, man. He gonna be till ultimately till it's he gonna ride that thing out. But appreciate y'all coming on, man. I gotta go ahead and wrap. We long this process to finish this thing. Takes a minute, gotta let this thing download. But Mike, James, Henry, Cornelius, appreciate y'all. James, we appreciate your enlightenment, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I come on here, man, because I watch basketball for real. 4 games a night since the 80s. So
what you gonna do now? What you gonna do now?
What you mean what I'm gonna do?
There's no basketball on, so what are you gonna do?
Got wrestling.
Huh?
You know, I watch wrestling.
Oh yeah, I know that. Okay.
That's it. Basketball and wrestling. That's it.
You gonna take a break like AD?
No, I don't take no break like AD. He'll ball. No.
All right, y'all, man.
Basketball said April. Man, that man ought to kill himself. Stop. How LeBron gonna win?
All right, man. It's been fun, man. I gotta run.
They should have traded AD.
Enjoyed everybody.
All right, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all
be safe out there.
Man.
Y'all
it was cool, man.
All right, yeah.
Right, y'all be safe.
All right, fellas, y'all too.
All right, man.
And folks, that's another edition of the All Basketball Podcast. We appreciate Steve Hancock for coming on for the first time. Henry, James, Mike, and Cornelius coming back to talk about these 2022 NBA Finals and other topics. Remember to please subscribe on your listening platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, All Basketball Podcast. It's an easy search. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon. And until next time, peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.